Hello, it's JB Helm. Thanks for watching my channel. And I want to talk a little bit about how I've been recording my songs using Suno. Now, I've been writing songs for a long time, so what I usually do is I collaborate with someone. So I write the words, I write the music. But with Suno, I can also sing the song myself. Let's just say I have a new song, and I can just sing the melody into a recorder. Like I use something called Audacity, which is a free voice recorder. And then I get an MP3 track, and you could put that in here just like you would a demo track. You're basically creating your own demo, and then you can, if you play a guitar or piano or something, you can create your own demo that way. So basically, let me just show you how it works with the Pro plan. The Pro plan is $96 for a year. First of all, it's an exceptional value. I mean, it's so funny because on Facebook, I'm on some of these Suno, pages where people who have a subscription to Suno talk about Suno and they give you tips and everything. And a lot of people complain like, "Oh, I can't get it to do this, I can't get it to do that." I mean, it's $96 a year. And, it's an incredible bargain for somebody that likes to write songs. So now, when you go into Suno, you might come into like the home page, but you just click on create. If you click on create, you're all set to go. All right, and that's where you create your songs. There's also an editor, but I'll show you that later. But basically, what you're going to do now, I'm assuming that you actually write songs. Some people are going to say, "Write me a song," and they're going to give it, a prompt like, "Write me a song about a horse" or something like that, and it'll just make a song up for you. I really don't know what fun is in that. I mean, it's a big deal. So it's going to give you a song all by itself. I mean, basically, it's for songwriters. So you have your song lyrics, you copy and paste them, and put them right here where it says lyrics. Now, if you have an audio track, again, like I have audio tracks because I have some people that I collaborate with. One of them, her name is Rose. She'll record a demo with an electric guitar of her singing the song that we wrote together. And I'll just click here, click upload, and I'll pull it in from my desktop, from a folder, wherever I have it. And it's an MP3 file of her singing the song. And I put that in here. All right, so then it has my lyrics, plus it has the audio track, the demo. And again, if I'm writing the song myself, even though I don't play an instrument, I could play a little bit of a guitar, but I don't even bother, trying to do demos with it because I'm I'm just not a good enough guitar player. But I can sing the song into Audacity and record my own MP3, and I could sing the song in the melody I want without any instruments. It doesn't make any difference. Suno will pick up the melody. That's the thing. You can easily record a melody track just with your voice. So, I mean, for instance, let's just say you had written "Let It Be." If you started singing, "Let it be, let it be," but just like that, and recorded it, and you put it in there, it would pick up that melody without any instruments. It adds the instruments, right? That's the whole thing. So it's very easy to write a song, even if you don't know how to play an instrument, as long as you have melodies in your head. Now, some people don't. I realize that it's not that easy to come up with original melodies, and a lot of people can't do that. But I assume that if you're thinking about getting Suno, or if you have Suno, you're the type of person that can either write lyrics or come up with melodies, or both. Songwriting is difficult. Look, there's no question about it, because a lot of people, when they try to write songs, even musicians. A lot of musicians, their songs, they'll write songs, but their songs sound exactly like somebody else's song. So they're not really, they just don't have that particular talent. Some people do, and some people don't. And as far as lyrics, the same thing. Like, I've always been good at writing lyrics. It just comes easily to me. As far as melodies, that's more difficult. I mean, I think people like Paul McCartney, people like that, Elton John, people that come up with these melodies over and over and over again, and they're prolific songwriters. That's a very unique talent. There aren't that many people that can do that, and at that level, you know. But anyway, so you put your lyrics in. Then if you have an audio track, you put that in. If you don't have an audio track, you can just go with the lyrics, and Suno will create the melody for you. Then you go down and you put prompts in here. So you say, I want, you could say I want a soft rock song, or I want a folk song, or I want a hard rock song, or I want a heavy metal song, whatever you want. And you can get into details here. You tell it whether you want a male vocal or a female vocal, what kind of drums you want. If you don't want synthesizers, or if you don't want a synthesized sound, you could say just give me a clean rock sound with a snare drum, bass guitar, electric guitar. You can tell what instruments you want. The prompting is something that takes a while to get used to, but I found that you can get really good arrangements out of Suno with just a couple of lines of prompts. Sometimes if you put too much in, I think it just gets you're confusing it. Now I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the reasons why I made the video. There's something in here called exclude styles, and this is really important, because if there's one thing I would criticize about Suno is that the lead singers oversing. In other words, what happens is, first of all, they try to build up the song for some reason. Like, say I write a ballad, and just give me a soft pop rock sound, or a folk pop with a soft vocal. So the singer will start singing really nice, but then as the song gets towards the end, for some reason Suno thinks you've got to build up. And the next thing you know, the singer is, belting it out like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith or something like that, either like raspy or screaming, or, holding notes like really, really long. And it doesn't sound good because it's not realistic. Most of the singers that we listen to who are famous singers actually don't have incredible voices. There aren't that many people that have, classically trained voices that are singing pop music. Right, those people are in the opera, or something like that. Now there are really good singers that have great voices, but a lot of people that are very successful and who are good singers because they know how to sing, and they know how to sing with feeling, and they know how to sing so they interpret the lyrics well. They don't have great voices. They're just professional singers. They know how to sing, and that's usually what sounds best in pop music. If you start belting it out like Liberace, like Pavarotti, Liberace would probably work too. But you don't want an operatic voice to sing a pop song, and you don't want a Steven Tyler screaming in a soft ballad. Suno tends to oversing, and it sounds unrealistic too, because the people have such incredible voices, and like I said, that's not realistic. Most of these people, like Mick Jagger, doesn't have an incredible voice, but he's a good singer. Bob Dylan doesn't have an incredible voice. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need, kind of a regular voice. So what you could do is you go in here and you say exclude styles, and you could say no belting, no screaming. Do not sing louder as the song goes on. You can put these things there. I actually did an AI search, and I'll tell you here. One second. Yeah, I just asked Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, the free AI, to give me some ideas of how to calm down the voice in Suno, and they told me to use the exclude box. That's where I got the idea. And a lot of people who were using Suno didn't know about this. So it says, tell it to exclude belting, tell it to exclude power vocals, screaming, melisma, which is run heavy over singing, dramatic vocal delivery, rock belting, and emotional escalation. See all these here. So I put those in. I just copy and pasted them into exclude styles, and that improved the vocals tremendously just by putting that in. And then you can see you've got voice gender, so you can pick your male or female. Now another thing too, you have this weirdness thing. You can lower the weirdness. So you probably want to do that unless you like weird sounding music. If you put this up high, you're going to get something, kind of crazy. But maybe, if you're going for something, super original and avant-garde, you could fool around with those. Now you should put your song title in here, in my opinion, too. Type your song title in. So after you do all that, you just click create down here, and it creates 2 songs for you. You get 2 different songs. Now, if you just put your lyrics in and prompt it and tell them, you tell it what tempos you want. If you're not going to put in any sort of musical track, tell it I want an up tempo, or I want a mid tempo, or I want a slow song, I want a back. You know what I mean? Another thing that you do too is you want to tell it what's the verse, the chorus, and then if you have a bridge. And so all you do is like on top of the chorus, just type the word chorus. On top of the verse, just type the word verse, just right on top of it. And if you have a bridge, same thing. So now these are some of the songs that I have. Like All Your Love is one of my new songs I have on my YouTube page. Now, out of all the songs I've done, that's the only one that I didn't put in the music. I only put in the lyrics. And it's funny too, because when the first couple of songs that it made for me, because it gives you 2 each time, I told it to do like a mid-tempo, and the melody that it came up with was similar to the melody I had in my head. And this is the thing about lyrics. Anybody who writes lyrics, and if you're a decent lyric writer, lyricist, a lot of your lyrics, especially if it's a good lyric, are going to have a certain cadence to them, right? There's a certain melody. It's like I was talking about Let It Be before. Let's just say that Paul McCartney wrote Let It Be, the lyrics down, and he gave it to John Lennon and says, hey, you write the music to it. Or he gave it to Elton John and said, you write the music to it. I bet you it would have sounded very similar. Because when you read the lyrics, like Let It Be, let it be, there will be an answer, let it be. A good songwriter is probably going to come up with basically the same melody. Now, there's a couple of things that McCartney did, like the piano, dun, 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 how he played the piano like that, which is beautiful. They probably wouldn't have had that in there. They may have had something else. But the thing is, the lyrics have a cadence to them. And a lot of times, like this song here is the first one I put into Suno where I didn't I didn't put in the melody. I just put in my lyrics. And the melody came up with very similar melody that I came up with in my head, which I didn't think was that fantastic. So I said, let me see what they come up with. So what happened is, as I started recreating it, I didn't like the first few ones. I didn't like the mid-tempo. So after a while, I said, let's speed it up a little bit. And then when I went more up-tempo, then I really liked it. And that I didn't have in my head. I had my melody was a slower melody, which I wasn't crazy about anyway. Turned out, though, after telling him to speed up the melody and to go more up-tempo, they came out with, this All Your Love, which came out really, really good. So, and I'll show you how to use this stuff in a second too. It was the end of sanity. So now you can see now the voice sounds nice and controlled after and he doesn't build it up. He just sings it, straight the whole way. He doesn't, start going crazy at the end. Now, if you want to change it, you click on this, and you just click on Open in Editor Pro. I have the Pro plan, right? And then it's going to take the song, and it's going to open it in this editing session. And you can go in here and you could like say I wanted to change the first verse. You can actually put a whole new verse in and it'll splice it in. So you can make little changes here in the editing. And I haven't worked with this too much. So if you want to use the editor, I would recommend that what you do is See, it tells you got to choose a section of the song, and then it'll highlight it, and you can cut and paste. You can change things. You can change the chorus. You can change the verse. Now, again, I haven't worked a lot with this because if I don't like the song the way it came out, I just tell them to generate two more. So a lot of times, I mean, I'll do like, say, I'll do it 3 times. I'll get 6 versions, and I'll usually find one I like. With this song, All Your Love, because I was having problems with the vocal and because I didn't like the slow tempo, I made about 8 different tries at it. So I had like 16 songs to choose from, and I just delete them then. If I don't like them, I just delete them. So and here's the home page, but then when you click on create, it goes back to here. So you can see I only have 2 left. I deleted all the other ones, but the one I like is the one I was just playing. It's a great value. I mean, I paid $96 for the whole year. I paid up front. And as long as you know these little tricks, like like using, clicking on more options and using exclude, learning how to do the prompts. Again, it's better, if you do. I mean, obviously, if you're writing your own songs, some people are so. I see people on Suno who have actually said, "Oh, I've already done 600 songs," and I'm thinking, wow, like, I mean, they can't. Obviously, most of them can't be that good if you're doing. That means they're just telling it to write a song. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what enjoyment you would get about telling it. Write me a song about, a cat or something. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, for some people that like to write songs, and let's just say you're only good at one. Say you're good at melodies, but you're not good at lyrics. You can put your melody in here, you can record it, and tell them to do the lyrics for you. Or vice versa. If you're not good at, if you don't know how to play an instrument, or you can't come up with a melody in your head, you could put your lyrics in. Most of my songs, though, I used the melody that Rose recorded, on a demo, which was from my lyrics. This is, a singer-songwriter that I collaborated with, or I sang the melody in myself. I have books that I write, thrillers, and I wrote songs for them, like sort of like theme songs you would put for a movie. I created theme songs for my books. So I have a song called The Signal from my book, my thriller, Signal to Kill. So anyway, that's a short video on Suno. It is a very good value if you like writing songs. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about this is another thing is on Facebook pages where people are talking about Suno, a lot of people go, how can I make money on this? And who's making money on it? I mean, the chances are you're not going to make money with these songs. There's like people are putting them on Spotify. Well, hundreds of thousands of songs go on Spotify probably like every day. I don't know how you would get your song noticed. Generally speaking, since the song is, generated by Suno, right away, a lot of people aren't going to be interested in it anyway. They're only interested in songs that are, people are actually playing with their bands, whatever. And even if they are, even if you have a band, you're probably not getting noticed. You're not making money on your songs either. It's just not easy to do. I'm using the song. I like writing songs, and I'm using the songs on my YouTube page to help promote my books. And eventually, I'm going to do some short, movies with my, Panasonic cameras, and I'll put my music to them. So, and I'll probably have some promoting my thrillers too. So it's a lot of fun. But I mean, people who think like they're going to, start writing songs and become, some kind of rich and famous, recording artist, it seems highly unlikely that would happen, but it has happened to a few people. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Do me a favor. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. It's free. And thanks for tuning in.